Hey everyone. During the course of a marriage or a long-term relationship, there's a very strong tendency to lose yourself. And in large part, the reason that happens is because when you meet someone, you see a little things about yourself that you can change to make yourself fit together a little bit more comfortably. And they see a few things about you they'd like to change so you can fit together a little bit more comfortably. And then one day you look in the mirror and you barely recognize yourself. So although you may have during the course of the journey thought it wasn't a big deal to change a few of these things, it's like Sleeping Beauty, and she's sleeping and these roots grow quietly and silently around her. And then she goes to wake up and she realizes she can't move. So the point is, without getting into a conversation about how to not lose yourself, I'd rather just address people that are in a position where they feel torn. Is it bad enough? Are you miserable enough to uproot your whole life and the things you've rooted around each other? It can be scary. But if you look a little deeper, the reason that you're scared is because you're coming from a place of lack and a place of fear about losing. You don't want to lose what you have. And the thing is that if you wouldn't fear losing something that you have if you were aware of your abundance to have what you want in other areas. You're changing, and so you oftentimes have met that person when you were a different person yourself. And while you continue to grow and expand, you haven't kept up with that expansion. And and you're building your life oftentimes around other people, the other person's comfort levels or discomfort levels, and that causes you to kind of, at least in part, ignore what's resonating with you. And oftentimes we're not in a relationship based upon the proper premises to allow each other the expansion in the ways that are natural to us individually, because you're still two individuals sharing your lives, but you don't tend to conduct yourself anymore in an individual fashion. You buy into the illusion of being one person. It's supposed to be like you're one, and you value compromise to the expense of your own validation of what feels right for you. And it's almost impossible to feel happy under those circumstances. So this is really about addressing your fear and your willingness to be yourself. I don't want to come off too redundant in a lot of the videos that I post, but you are going to hear a lot of redundancy because this is all about the same thing. It really is. Every relationship you have, every circumstance you have, it really is all about your relationship with yourself and your willingness to honor yourself. And when you're in a relationship, you've bought into the idea that you can't have a relationship if you don't compromise, and compromise includes kind of dishonoring yourself in some way or another on some subject or another. Otherwise, what would you need to compromise? So the thing is, get in touch with your fear about what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid of what's the worst case scenario? Another 5-10 years can pass and you lived it settling. What kind of quality life do you want? Do you really want to keep yourself from your dreams of being happy, your dreams of what you want your life to feel like? Is this what you want your life to feel like? How afraid are you compared to how willing you are to go towards what feels right for you? And I like to look back. If you look back at your life and you remember times where you went through things that were really difficult, whether it be you had a breakup before, and even if it was way many years ago when you were just a teenager, if you broke up with someone before, in that contemplation of it, it was such a big deal then. Remember, it was like, oh gosh, it's going to be, oh, I don't want to lose this person, or it's hard to see myself without this person. Your whole identity almost becomes in association with this person. And You create this illusion that there's no one else out there and you'll never love again, etc., etc. There's all this fear-based things. And how do you feel about it now? How do you feel about those people now that you once loved or you tormented over, breaking up over? How do you feel about anything that you ever dreaded having to go through? And you don't really feel anything about it now. You don't think about it. It's understanding your human computer. And your human computer has a certain detox period. You'll get over it. And that's why the statement, there's nothing to fear but fear itself, is so true. Like, fear is a liar. That's another beautiful thing to realize, that our fears are based upon lies. If you dig deeper and you ask what you're afraid of, it's a lie. You're abundant, you're limitless. There's nothing to really fear. So sometimes it helps to pull from our experiences in our past that we were afraid of, but we've made it through that, and understand that if you do take that step towards yourself and what makes you happy, that there will be a detox period. And to know that going in, that there's a healing process, there's a getting over it process to the point where you don't think about it anymore. And you can make that a long period, or you can make it a short period, by what you choose to focus on while you're healing or while you're detoxing. And I say detoxing because a lot of times there are toxic things in our relationships that we're used to. It's habit. We're habits a lot of times to each other. And having a certain person in your life becomes like an identity. It's part of your identity, and it's hard to see yourself without them. Well, reshaping those platelets, like the earth has platelets underneath it. There's platelets that will shift, and once they shift, they become settled and they become your new roots and your new foundation, and that takes a little time. But if you understand in advance that it is a process, you can look at your life and you can see that it is a process, and you know how it was before, and you will get over it. That it's okay, but it's you're going to arrive on the other side, and you're going to be glad you did, and you're going to forget, you're going to look back at it, you're going to be like, wow, like, remember that I felt like a big ordeal about it, but I don't think anything like that now. It's over. I'm happy that I made the change to honor what I am now and go towards what I am now. So I hope that helps a little bit, give you some food for thought about how to look at some of those fear-based thoughts, about whether or not to move on, or whether or not to dig a little deeper on what's going on underneath that, and what you're believing and what you're willing to do to honor what's most important, which is your relationship with yourself and the quality of your life. And so if that helps, please share the video with other people that maybe are in similar situations, and don't forget to join the group page, Dal Boyer Life Coach. Thank you.